Right, afternoon people, here we are again with my Suzuki Hayabusa 2008, and today's video is going to be on just a couple of things. Firstly, it needs an oil change, nothing glorious about that, so I'm not going to go into the details of that, but there's two or three things also that I want to do whilst I've got the fairings off. Now, I only need to take one side fairing off, but I've purchased some grout inserts for here that I really want to put on, so I'm going to be doing that today. So I've got 1, 2, and there's a third one as well somewhere. I'll try to figure out where that goes. 3, there you go. So 3 of those from a company in America, a place called Madison, and they make custom grout inserts for the Hayabusa. I've gone with gold colour to match the alloys, the levers, and also the decal, but they haven't given the one for the nose cone, so I'm not going to mess about with that. I'm going to leave that as it is. So today's job is going to be around changing the oil and putting in firstly these grout inserts, and I'll show you how I'll do that, and also a couple of other things as well. I've got some traction pads to firstly kind of give some protection to the tank, because I've started wearing leather trousers or leather bottoms, and as you can see it kind of has an impact upon the paintwork, so just to give some protection to that, and then we're putting on some of those traction pads. And my bike for some reason is missing the GSXR sticker that should be here, so I've bought some of those off eBay as well, and I'm going to be sticking them on. So that's what it looks like now. Next video will be the fairings off and sticking on the grills, and then once the epoxy is dried, it takes about 5 minutes to dry. Once the epoxy is dried, then I'll put the fairings back on, give the bike a thorough wash, clean the chain, adjust the Scott oiler, and then put on the traction pads and the rear decal. Right, let's go on. Okay, so that's the inside of the fairing. That's the left side, and that's the right side. Now, the grills come in 3 pieces. That's for the top part, and that's for the middle part, and that's for the bottom part, and that's where the crankcase goes. Now, what I've just done is given that a bit of a clean, just with a little bit of bleach to get rid of all the gunk and the crap that's on there. So hopefully it'll bond a little bit easier. That's the heat protect then from the exhaust for the exhausts. Now these, they say that they're pressure formed and it's a fit right on. It's not really, to be honest with you. It's bent, yeah, but it's not a perfect fit. So it's going to take a little bit of fiddling to get it on, and then once it's on, the first dry fit's done, which I've already done, then it's a case of mixing the compound, these 2 things, in that little disposable tub, plastic tub, and then applying it in such a way where it's solid. And that's the thing, you know, it doesn't completely run parallel all the way around. I'll show that in the next one. But what happens is that it sits proud in some places, it's flush on the other places. Well, I'll show you what I mean. Let me just dry fit them on and you can have a look. Alright, so if you see this one as a top example, you've got that edge there which has barely anything on it. It's just literally 1 or 2 pieces, whereas here it sits flush, but I've had to bend this myself to get it in. And then you've got a little piece that sits under here behind the heat shield foil, and then back up to the top where it gets thin again. But the thing is, good thing about the material is that you can bend it over to kind of give it a bit of a claw. So it's like a bit of a hook that hooks onto the fairing. And what will happen now with it is I'll have to put the araldite compound on in certain places first. So I'll mix a small amount, put it on the contact points where it's strong. It bonds in about 5 minutes, and then once those parts are strong, and I suppose I can do those parts. Once those parts are strong, then go around, mix a bigger batch, and fill it in. You know, in the places where it's a little bit proud and where it needs pushing and all that kind of stuff. So that's it. Let me do one, and then I'll come back and show you what the rest of it looks like. Alright, okay, update time. So that's what they look like on the inside when they're finally done. It's not the most enjoyable process putting these on. You've got to mix the araldite, and I've got the 5-minute set one. Workable within 5 minutes, then after that goes hard in 2 hours, and then fully cures in God knows how long. But that's what it looks like. So you try and keep it as neat as possible. That's fairly solid now. But the problem is with these, because these aren't flush against the fairing, so they're bent over, but it's not a kind of pristine finish. I suppose you get what you pay for, don't you? Having said that, this was a better part of 70 quid, so it's not cheap for 3 pieces of, or 6 pieces of formed wire or chicken wire, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, because these aren't folded over to the exact specification of the fairing, you have gaps, and you have these kind of little bits where fairing and fairing intersect and meet, so that part connects with that part, and you know, there's gaps and all the rest of it. So you've really got to load the araldite up so it can almost form like a filler between the fairing and the grill that you put in, and then it's a case of just tacking it almost, and then spreading it through. So you can see there, for argument's sake, that once it's kind of gone through the mesh hole, you've got to press it down and just spread the excess through, so it bonds a little bit. But with it being a liquid, it doesn't set straight away. It sets within about 5 minutes, so you've got to keep it pressed down and held in place whilst it cures and whilst the compound goes off. And that's the most annoying bit, because these things bloody dig into your hands and it's really uncomfortable. But I didn't enjoy this process. But anyway, the long and the short is that it's done. I'll show you what the outside looks like when it's back on the bike, and then you'll be able to kind of see for yourself whether it's made an improvement or not. Back soon. Alright people, and that's how she looks after. Start from the back. I managed to put those decals back on, which I really like, man. I got these I think for about 7 or 8 quid from eBay. Let's see the other side. Came in from the States, but they just look so, just sets the tail end off so much more. I really like that. And then moving forward, I managed to get the traction pads on as well. Followed some YouTube videos, got a hairdryer, heated up the pad, heated up the tank, and then stuck them on, and then they will now give me a little bit of grip, and also, more importantly, protection to my tank so it doesn't get damaged. It takes about 24 hours apparently to cure. These are the joys of working in British weather, man. It's always bloody raining. And more importantly, fairing grills, top part, middle, and the bottom. And I use the, as you mentioned, the araldite compound. That's taken about 24 hours. Well, it's been on there for like 2 days now, so that should have cured fully. And that's how she looks. the fairings on, traction pads on the rear. There you go, jigsaw side on. Hayabusa and the traction pad as well. And that's how they're fitted. Covers that gap up nicely. I do like the way they look. It's a ball ache to put them on though, but I do like the way they look. It's the ones at the bottom. So yeah, there she is. That windows are 15-20 minutes when it rains and stops raining. I need to try and get the rear chain adjusted. Let's see if I can do that now. Happy days. I'll try and take some decent pictures when I've got a bit more space and add them on. But this is my Jigsaw Hayabusa 2008 Gen 2 with some basic mods. Just makes it look a bit more, I don't know, I just like the way that it looks. Just a bit more personal. Nothing over the top. Nothing crazy. But I do really like those. That's really set the back end off, man. I didn't appreciate how much of it was missing until I put them on. There you go. Alright, some more pictures to come.